Alright, so we've got a fun one here. It's Marlon Vera versus Davey Grant. So Marlon Vera has a slight 1.5 inch reach advantage. Both the guys are the same height. Yeah, should be a good one. Alright, let's break down the striking. So Marlon Vera, he comes in as southpaw. He likes to switch stance quite frequently, but primarily, yeah, he is a southpaw. And he likes to stalk his opponents, kind of walk them down. Likes to cook his opponents slow with the pressure. Also a nice kicking game, he's got long legs. I think Davey Grant actually kind of matches him in the leg reach department, but that's kind of unusual for an opponent of Marlon Vera. He does have long legs for the weight class, and he does have nice high kicks, nice teeps to the body. Also attacks the lead leg of his opponent quite well. He'll do that with his lead leg. He'll go for a lead leg low kick versus orthodox fighters, or just a low calf kick versus southpaw fighters. And Davey Grant, he doesn't check leg kicks at all. Like, he's got a very wide stance as well. He takes the full brunt of the leg kicks and he doesn't check them. So it could be a problem for him here, just as it was in the Jonathan Martinez fight. But when Davey Grant's doing his best work is when he's controlling the rhythm of the fight. That's when he's on the front foot, landing his combinations. He's basically wings every hook from the hip. He just wings most of his punches, and his favourite combination will probably be the right hook to the body and then the left hook up top. And he does switch stance to close the distance for that right hook to the body, because he's generally, an orthodox fighter. And on the front foot, every time he's backing up when he is controlling the pace, he's just trying to find space so he can throw one of his kicks. That's the only time he's backing up, but generally he's trying to, walk you down, land his combinations, trying to walk you onto his punches if he is backing up. But he's definitely best when he's controlling the rhythm of the fight, and we saw that in the second round of the Martinez fight, and also it was like for a minute actually in the Marvin Day fight. Like, he wasn't controlling the fight for very long there, but he did find the kill shot anyway. But what Marlon Vera is very good at is that when opponents do close the distance on him, he will look for the clinch. He's got a very strong Muay Thai plum clinch. Look for knees to the body, knees to the head from there, elbows up top. And he also has very good intercepting straight knees. And yeah, that's because he has a very long legs. He can get the knee up quite a fair bit. But he's got very good timing on it as well. And I can definitely see Davey walking onto one of those as he is switching that stance and, leaning in to go to the body. But also I believe he's vulnerable to that because he does telegraph, like Davey Grant, he does telegraph his striking intentions and his striking entries very clearly. Like, it's very clear what Davey Grant wants to do when he does close distance. Also, Davey Grant has his hands low at all times, so he's very vulnerable when he is charging into range and, leaving himself quite wide open when he goes for these winging hooks in the pocket. But yeah, if you back Davey Grant up, which I'm expecting Marlon Vera to do here, he's much less effective in my opinion. He kind of gets stripped down to the check left hook, push kick to the body, or a side kick when he's in southpaw. And, I don't think he's as effective because he's not throwing combinations when he's on the back foot. So I think that's what Marlon Vera should look to do here, and it's generally what Marlon Vera looks to do anyways, push his opponent back and put the pressure on. For Marlon Vera, in the grappling department, he looks to catch a kick and then wait for his opponent to turn, and then he'll look for the back body lock from there. And then once he's got the back body lock, he's looking for the outside leg trip from there, or jump back take. If he does get you to the mat, like with the trip from the body lock, then he will look to take the back, lock in hooks from there. He will put a body triangle on you when he does take the back. He'll look for an armbar from mount if he is kind of losing the grip on the body triangle. Also, just rear naked choke. Depends what one you want to give him. And if you're going to turn around and give him mount, he will posture up and throw elbows from top position, or even guard, as we saw with Sean O'Malley. But if you roll him over, he is a little too comfortable off his back. He did come into the UFC as basically a guard player, so he can be a little too comfortable off his back and old habits kind of creep in a little bit. But for Davey Grant, he's got a decent sub game, but I don't think he's going to find too much success in the UFC with the sub game that he has. I mean, it's got to work on the British regional scene, but I don't think it's going to work too well in the UFC. And it hasn't really. And when Davey Grant goes for takedowns of his own, he can shoot from way too far out. Also, he doesn't set up his takedown so opponents can see it from a mile away. How these guys win fights? So for Marlon Vera, he's very hard to finish. He's got a good shin and he's got good submission defense. He's very durable. And for Davey Grant, it's kind of the awkwardness and the activity of him. He's a very awkward fighter on the feet. And he's very active as well, just with his combinations. And just, naked kicks. And he does have raw power as well. I mean, 2 straight KOs at this weight class on the feet. Like, that's some raw power. Like, he must be getting more confident in his knockout power. So, for sure, he's going to be, leaning into that a bit now. It would be hard not to with 2 clean KOs on the feet at bantamweight. You know, you got to be impressed with that. How these guys lose fights? So for Davey Grant, he has subpar takedown defense. Same with Marlon Vera. Both these guys have poor takedown defense. And for Davey Grant, it's the striking defense, and we'll discuss that in a bit. And for last thing for Marlon Vera, he can be a little bit of a slow starter, and I feel like Davey could take advantage of that. I think the path to victory for Davey is start fast and hard, look for combinations early, mix in body shots under his high guard, and also look to feint a little bit to slow the forward pressure on Marlon Vera, because he will bite on feints. He's biting on the feints of Sean O'Malley quite frequently and quite obviously too, so yeah, just look for that. And for Marlon Vera, look to pressure him. Don't give him the space to wind up all of his techniques. Just look to pressure him, get in the pocket. Also, if he's going to be going to the body at distance, look for the straight knee up the middle to try and catch him as he's coming in. But at distance, look to damage the lead leg of Davey Grant. Look for the inside low calf kick when you're in southpaw, like used against Andre Ewell. I think that could be a very effective technique here. Also the outside low calf kick when you guys are in the same stance. But basically, yeah, look to clinch him against the fence. Look for offense on the fence clinch, and just look to take him down and, you know, look for damage on top. How I see the fight playing out. So both these guys are fighters in the purest sense of the word. Both these guys are slow starters though. They need to be hit by something or, you know, fired up by something to really get themselves going. But after that, they really start going for the kill. Like, I know Davey Grant has a win over Marlon Vera a couple of years ago, but Vera has made massive improvements in his game over this time. Like, he didn't have any stand-up game at that point. Whereas Davey Grant, when you look at him, he seems like he's basically the same fighter. And for his stand-up, Davey Grant, he needs space, and he needs to be the one to dictate the pace. But Vera, he isn't likely to be taking the back foot, so Davey's probably going to be on the back foot, and he's resigned to his counter-punching game plan, which, as we talked about before, he's much less effective. In the first fight, it was Davey who was backing up Vera, but in this one, I see Vera pulling out the reverse card. Like, I don't see Davey Grant backing him up in this one. I'm honestly surprised no one's been able to put Davey Grant away. Like, he's basically asking to get KO'd with the way that he enters range and the way that he strikes in general. But recently, he's been the one to be able to find the kill shot. Now, I doubt he'll be able to put Vera out, as he did with Martinez and Day, because I'm not impressed with their chins, but Vera is just, in general, very durable, and he's never been finished in 23 fights in his whole career, and I don't think he's even been dropped in his whole career. And he's faced some hard-hitting guys. And on the ground, you know, Vera is the better grappler too. I think Vera should really win here, unless Davey pulls out another kind of meme KO. But I'm not rushing to pay the juice because, you know, Davey Grant, he has an uncanny ability to freeze opponents up due to his awkwardness and his activity. So, you know, meanwhile, while he's racking up all the volume by flicking out nothing kicks and what have you, and just crazy combinations on the feet, you're just kind of frozen there, just looking for your openings because there's so many, but you're just not pulling the trigger. And Vera has been hindered by his lack of volume in the past. But, you know, Vera, he seems to be going from strength to strength in recent fights. And I think he's going to gun down Davey late. Probably find the late finish, either on the mat or just on the feet. So that's my prediction, and we'll have a look at the betting lines. Prediction is Marlon Vera by TKO, or a KO. I think it happens in round 3. I think he wins a good chunk of the time, around 70% of the time. If you're not comfortable paying, you know, juice on Marlon Vera, I think Marlon Vera inside the distance at pick'em odds or greater. I think I'm going to be betting that. You know, he's finished 9 of 10 UFC wins, so he generally gets his work done inside the distance. And Davey Grant, he is a bit of a kill or be killed type fighter, so don't see this one going the distance. I'm going to try and get fight doesn't go the distance at like plus 140 or $2.40. You know, if I'm feeling more risk averse and I want to cover my ass over a Grant KO, another Grant meme KO. But I'm guessing this fight doesn't go the distance is going to be plus money. So I'm kind of hoping for that price, but I'm not expecting to actually get that price. But if it is, then bam, I'm hitting that.